Hello all. First off, I'd like to apologize for the audio disruption. My computer fan is about to die. I've set it to not spin, but the BIOS overrules me because it gets like 65 degrees hot and it then spins for like 30 seconds and cools it to 55 and then it's like sounds like a dentist. So yeah, I'm gonna have to even pause the music to have any chance of you guys hearing me. So I apologize, but I will do this update nonetheless. I've been thinking of quitting politics. Uh, if any of the things I say sound too impossible to be true, then just say to yourself schizophrenia and move on. To me, it is real, but I am very much aware that most people on this planet don't even believe in the astral existing, let alone that you're able to connect with people through it for real. So if you hear me say something that you're pretty sure is a hallucination, I'm more than willing to let you think it is an hallucination and not contest the point. So I've been thinking of all the things that I've managed to do, the the solutions to the environmental warming thing, the biofuel third generation large vats that would suck up the CO2 from the atmosphere, the artificial tree upgrades. I've been Obama's anger management guy. I was the guy who got Trump off of alcohol and back into his own mood. And I've been barbecuing with Putin. I've done all the things that a person that you would imagine to be somewhat interested in politics, a diplomat, if you will, would dream their entire life of doing. Just having a barbecue with Putin is something that a career diplomat would be, from the low ranking office where I am, would be a lifetime accomplishment. I am one of those low level lackeys of the system, and getting this far is absolutely amazing. It is absolutely amazing. So I'm thinking of what else is there to do. I've had enough money to have a number of bitcoins, or what you would perhaps call actual currency units, where I had a number with 115,000 letters because I went through the system. I've had my own Dyson sphere. I've basically phoned home to a couple of hundred of the largest supermassive black holes at the same time. All of that stuff is just politics to me. I'm a spirit worker by design. I'm not really that interested in politics, but I wanted to see literally what would happen if I tried to, I don't want to say brute force this thing because that's the wrong word, but perhaps biohacking. If I just politely ask, literally just ask for these opportunities with no strings attached, what will actually manifest. And I've seen so much. Just, I have literally seen firsthand the kind of horrendous things that the cabal that you imagine to be the Illuminati does, and I've seen it firsthand. I've also seen the bravery of the good side of the cabal fighting against these things, and I've been in the room of the fourth density positives being asked to manifest to the fourth density because I'm only a third density person and it would help the planet more if I did go to fourth density. Literally, I've been in where, when you talk about these guys that are in this Freemason system, where you have 33 degrees, and then you talk to these guys who know the Freemason system through the astral and say that there's actually 330 degrees. I've been in a room with that 330 degrees person. Literally. I don't even know how far up I am anymore because I don't really care, but I've been high enough. And it's getting to a point where I'm thinking of what am I giving up just to continue this and what am I actually gaining. it can't be money. I've had 100,000 letters literally in my bank account. That's not 100,000 like in cash. That's 100,000 in cash is 6 numbers. I've had 115,000 numbers in my bank account. I've built my own goddamn Dyson Sphere with like home equipment, and it's just, I've had a particle accelerator in my apartment that got into the news because it consumed so much electricity. Just, you gotta ask yourself after a certain point, what are you actually going for? Is it just, what more weird things can I do? Can I randomly help the planet more? And so on and so forth. And I'm just thinking to myself, help how? I mean, if I retain this power now, I'll become an administrator instead of the guy who looks at your errors and goes like, these things could work, and then leaves. I would be the day-to-day administrator of my side of this planet as such, and that would basically be the job I don't want. I would be the planetary governor. I want a life. I don't want to live Warhammer 40,000, if you will. I want an actual life. So I'm thinking of what is there left for me. Now, if I just play my computer games and dick around, I'll probably continue to be the guy who has some amount of money in his bank account, but who makes, calls some guy in the astral and suddenly there's 100 trillion being invested into GameStop, you know what I mean? That kind of weirdness. So I'm just thinking, what is there left for me to experience in terms of the hidden possibilities? Seeing the Pope, seeing the Dalai Lama, where is the limit of weirdness? And I'm just thinking to myself, this is starting to appear like a planetary governor job. Like, instead of the guy who comes from the outside, has some ideas and leaves, it's starting to look like the actual government job. And as much as I'd appreciate that, as much as I'd appreciate being the governor of some district or something, it's not the job I want, because I've been there in enough times to know that the day-to-day affair running of a region is not what I want. It is not for me. So I'm thinking, I haven't made any decisions yet, but I'm thinking of resigning politics and letting you guys do you, because the politicians, you guys talking here, are the guys who do this for a living. You may not always have the right solution. Sometimes somebody does come in from the outside and recommend something and they're actually right. But for the most part, you are your national spirits and you represent your nation's desires well enough that just some random United Nations takeover kinda is not what I'm aiming for. It's not what I'd like. I have zero doubt that I could do it, absolutely zero doubt, but it's not my thing. It's not what I want to do, because knowing the astral, one of the first things that happens to you when you die, if you are politically oriented, is that you literally get your homeworld to govern, and if you fuck up, you get to govern it again until you are content with what you have governed. And I've seen these people like Hitler, for example, infinitely running the Second World War again and again and again and again. And that's not for me. Being stuck in my bad choices, trying to make myself into the perfect correction of all my choices. And that's not for me. Being reborn into power again and again, and then slowly becoming more of the archetype of power until the situation is resolved, and then kind of limping back to my original life and in broken tatters and destroyed everything, and then just going there like, that's not for me. It's literally not for me. And I already know that since I'm the weird one, the odd one out, just getting the mass of the people through my methods to accept me as something that would be akin to a planetary governor is something that I don't want to do. Most of the people on this planet don't like my archetype, don't like the the big guy Jesus archetype. They don't like it running things. It's for you to run things. So I'm just thinking to myself here, like, what is there still left to do? I mean, I can already talk to Oumuamua and using my systems. I can already talk to these people. So basically, the only thing that I'd be even remotely interested in is guiding this civilization through its first contact period with some kind of alien organization or something. And I'm like, why? I mean, you really think humans are ready for that? We hardly get along with other races, not even mentioning diseases, not even mentioning the freaking sharks. And we want another species to talk to us who's also self-sentient. I mean, I could do that. I could summon the Oumuamua guys here to just talk with you guys. But chances are you'd flip out so badly that you'd destroy this planet. We'd reboot in 100,000 years. Some people would notice, that rock seemed to be 10 meters to the left. And that would be the end of it. You wouldn't even recognize what happened because you don't have the technology to understand that they rebooted you because you fucked up your civilization. And they really don't care about guiding you over the error. They're just going like, that failed, reboot. And I'm like, do I really want to do that? I've already seen it happen in my timeline a couple of times when we fuck up enough and we have to get rebooted. So I'm like, do I really want to see that? Instead of just, I don't know, going to a party. When's the last time I've been to a bar for the purpose of having a party? Like literally. When's the last time when I was with a friend where the first thought wasn't, what would happen if I summoned $100 million into their bank account? And then seeing that and then having the person reboot again and so on and so forth. You know, it's getting to a point where it's ridiculous. It's literally ridiculous. I mean, just Oumuamua would be enough for a lifetime accomplishment. Just one barbecue with Putin food would be enough for a lifetime of accomplishments. But a Dyson sphere, just, you do realize that if I do continue this, and you guys do contact like some form of alien civilization or something similar to that, I'm gonna be so out of place in your society that I would have to live my entire life as being the outsider again instead of one of the humans who were on the planet when it was contacted. I would once again be the outsider, the weirdo. And I'm just thinking to myself here that I've been the weirdo enough. I've been it enough. And there's so many things in my life that I've left undone because I was doing things like building a freaking Dyson sphere. And I'm just thinking, what do I gain with this anymore? What do I gain? I mean, global warming solved. You have the technology and you know very well what to do right now. It's just a matter of investing in it, and it's pennies on the dollar for how much it's gonna cost you to take the carbon out of your atmosphere. It's literally pennies on a dollar. I'm just thinking here. Environmental resource shortage, gone, you have to methanize. Space technology, you have the Space Force. You know, kind of like all of that stuff just solved. But I'm just thinking here. A freaking Dyson sphere and an amount of money with 100,000 letters in it. Numbers. And I'm like, sure. Build a new Dyson sphere. So yeah. So yeah, that's my update on this topic. I'm thinking of quitting politics and returning to being a normal person and basically having my spiritual inclinations be the guiding force, not, wow, I could build a Dyson sphere. Just, you know, being a common living person instead of the weirdo. So yeah, if any of this didn't resonate with you and you thought it sounded crazy, please ignore. This is for the people who kinda know what I'm doing and kinda don't know what I'm doing because nobody's really clued into all this shit because nobody can be. Not even me. Maybe one day I'll write my memoirs about, barbecue with Putin, the schizophrenic story. But we'll see. Perhaps one day. So we will consider this some more. I already know that if I do resign, there will be the cabal resigning package. I don't lose my fingers and I will be allowed to go peacefully. So, not worried about that option, but just thinking to myself what else needs to be done. So yeah, we will talk about this some more and I will let you know how this whole thing feels. But for now, perhaps quitting politics.